Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have an exciting video for you guys, how to stop reacting. Reacting, it actually doesn't harm our manifestation, but it does slow it down because we're taking the time to focus on what we don't want. And yeah, so if we can limit that and be in control of our emotions, then we're going to be way more in control of our reality and what shows up into it. So I've got some great tips on how to stop reacting that you can actually start applying right now today. Just before I do, guys, we are having a contest. Once we get to 100,000 subscribers, we're giving away 3 free coaching sessions to 3 people with the coach of your choice. All you need to do to enter is to subscribe, share our videos, and also comment. What have you guys manifested watching our channel, having coaching with us, or even just by knowing the law of attraction? Because you guys are all powerful manifestors. You guys are all amazing creators. You've been doing this your whole life. So let's go into the comments and start commenting on what we've created. Not only will it inspire other people, it actually gets you to focus on what you've been creating and to stop you from reacting for things that aren't working out in your life. And of course, like always, if you're looking for any coaching, we have a great team of coaches. The link's in the description below, as well as we've got amazing courses. And if you would like to ask me, Amanda, a question, definitely sign up at the Patreon. And I answer the questions once a month on our YouTube Live. So let's dive right into the material today. So how to stop reacting. The first and most foremost thing that I learned the hard way was to never take anything personally. Okay, so that kind of ties into point number 2. It's watch the meaning you give things, okay? Because we are, just as humans, meaning-making machines. We always want to know what it means, what's the meaning of it, right? But we actually create the meaning. And sometimes we'll automatically pull a meaning from our past. So if something happened previously, let's say, for instance, I asked a boy out or a guy out and he said no. And he said that's because he wasn't interested in me. And then, maybe I asked someone else out and they say no. And then I automatically give it the meaning that they're not interested in me because that's happened in my past. So we need to break, our thought patterns that sort of happen like that by, always being present in the moment, meaning, not worried about the past, which is, being depressed, or worried about the future, which is anxiety. It's about being in the present moment and realizing that everything is perfect and good right now. So how do we not take something personally? My motto is, and I just did a TikTok on this, so if you guys want to check out our TikTok, the link in the description below, you can find us. It's Create Your Future with Amanda on TikTok. So what the first thing is, never take anything personally. Okay, so what that means is if you don't want someone to reject you, don't accuse them of rejecting you. Okay. Also, don't take what anyone says or does personally, like there's something wrong with you. Remember, you're absolutely perfect. There's nothing that you need to change about you. It's about changing the meaning the story that we're giving somebody's action. So here's a really good example. Let's say Andrew comes home from work in a bad mood. Okay. I've got a couple choices. I could easily say, look, he just had a bad day at work and he's going to totally be over it because he's with me and he's going to be happy. Or I can take it personally and be like, oh, I must have upset him. Now he's mad at me if I didn't do this. Okay. So, the second one is taking it personally. Okay. My motto is, if everyone in my reality is mature enough to actually come to me and say, hey, you know what? I've got a problem. Okay, so I expect that. Now, if they don't do that, then I automatically assume that they don't have a problem with me. Okay, so for instance, if they don't call me back, I don't make it about me. I'm like, okay, they were busy, but then I immediately change the story to, but you know what? Sure, they're busy, but they're going to drop everything and make me a priority and call me like they always do. Okay, so you want to make sure that you give a good meaning to things in your reality that is in line with your manifestation. Okay. So let's say you're manifesting a specific person. Okay. And you text them and you want them to text you back. Right. And they don't text you back right away. You don't want to create the meaning that they're busy if you want to communicate with them, because again, that meaning is blocking you from what you actually want, communication. Okay. It's okay to say, okay, well, they're busy rather than, oh, I'm not good enough. Right. But then you want to take it a step further. Well, they're busy, but they're going to be free in a moment and they're going to make me a priority and they're going to text me back right away. Okay. So you always want to follow the story through. So the meaning you give it is in line with your end results. Okay. So The other thing that we find will help to that makes people react is looking at the lack. Okay. The one thing that I do a lot of the times when I feel stuck or I feel like things aren't working, I look around in my reality and you know what I say, look, I've created all of this. Okay. If we take responsibility for creating it rather than resisting it, then we're going to be able to, from that platform, create something different. Okay. So once we take all the emotion out of it and we stop taking it personally, we stop reacting to the situation by basically giving it a meaning that we're okay with, then we can actually start to recreate the situation. Okay. So, think about what you have now today. It's you created it and, it's what you wanted yesterday and it's shown up, right? So when we resist our reality, that's when we're focusing on everything that we don't want and we're trying to manipulate it and change it in the 3D. We don't want to do that because that's all reacting and that's going to slow down your manifestation. What we want to do is we want to, basically take a look at our reality and be thankful for everything that we have in it. Just like, even if it's something we don't want, we still have to say, thank you for showing up in my reality. My creation still works. We have to be okay with our bad or our negative or the things that we've created that we don't like. If we get upset at them, and then all we're doing is giving it more power, we're focusing on it and we're going to keep creating more of it. And if we keep creating more of it, then we're going to react. And then we go into this big spiral where we're focusing on what we don't want, then we're reacting over it, then we're creating more of it because we've been focusing on it and reacting about it. So I know it's, at first when there's something going on, it's so easy to react to it in the 3D, right? But when we react to it, all we do is prolong our suffering. When we actually say, no, you know what, I would be strong enough today not to react to this. It's really not a big deal. And I'm going to actually change this because I'm a creator. And then what you do at that point is you're actually recreating it on the spot and, you're getting over it. So, what is the biggest thing about when you create and you react? It's that, looking at things like they're undesirable for you or making it mean that you're not going to get what you want, right? So when you think about it, right, if you were to think about, say going to a restaurant or something and you want to go for dinner, but then you start thinking, oh, it's going to be busy, we're not going to get in there. Well, that's going to make you upset, those thoughts, as well as you're creating that to happen. So you're already reacting and creating something you don't want before you even get to the restaurant. And then you get to the restaurant and that happens. And of course we're upset because now it's happening. So now it's actually even more real than it was when we were in the car thinking about it, right? So we want to get to the start of those thoughts and we want to catch them with our mental diet and say to ourselves, no, I'm a creator. And no, the restaurant's going to be empty. We're going to get a seat and everything's going to go smoothly. Everything's going to work out my way. Okay. So for those of you guys that have been suffering from anxiety, this is very important that you start catching your thoughts at the beginning before, when you're starting to create how things are going to go. And that's usually the thoughts that you're having when you're in that state of anxiety, right? So one way to basically avoid that is to only focus on things you want or to be happy and grateful for things that are already in your reality that are working good for you. The more you focus on what's working good for you, say in your relationship, the rest of the bad stuff will just melt away. It'll be totally forgotten about. Okay. So for instance, right, if you want constant communication, when you're focusing on constant communication and believing in yourself that you're the God of your reality and you're in the zone, so to speak, right, what's going to happen is that's going to start happening, and then everything else that's not working about the communication will just melt away like it was nothing, right? I remember when I was manifesting Andrew to text more and stuff, his excuse was, I'm a guy, I forgot. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I started intending that he calls me for no reason. And one day I was driving down the road and he phoned me and I was like, hello. And he was like, hey. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, oh, why'd you call? He's like, for no reason. I was like, oh, okay. So, when we allow things to show up, they show up. So how do we allow it is we stop focusing on what we don't want. We stop reacting to things that we don't want. And we start focusing and feeling good about what is showing up in our reality. And then when things we don't want show up, we've got to have the strength enough to go, no, I've created this. I'm glad this still works. Like, yay, it's not broken. And now I'm going to change it, right? So because if we're constantly being emotional, we're going to be constantly being pulled this way, that way, this way, that way. Okay. So I know Neville said something along the lines, to have complete control in your reality is to be in control of your emotions. And if you're not, then you're just a pawn being pushed around on this chessboard, by your emotions, and your emotions creating this, that. So like, for instance, right, if you're in a relationship and you've gotten some resentment, what you're going to do is you're going to end up creating more resentment and more situations where resentment's going to happen. Okay. So it's so important for you to let go of all of that, right? To forgive yourself for creating it, for forgiving them for showing up like that, because that's the true freedom. I mean, they're not off the hook, right? Like, they did what they did, right? And it's not about, being a doormat, right? But it's about internally, when you're ready, forgiving yourself and the other person so you can move on from it, because you're the only person in your reality. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to recap a little bit on these points. Okay, so how to stop reacting is don't take anything personally. Okay, never make anything mean that it's about you or there's something wrong with you, because you're perfect. You're completely perfect. So say that. I'm perfect, whole, and complete right now, and I can have everything in my reality that I want because I'm good enough. Okay. The second thing is watch the meaning that you give things. Everything is empty and meaningless. Say, for instance, Jerry shows up late. It's empty and meaningless. He's only late because I thought, oh, maybe Jerry's going to be late. Or I thought, oh, there's heavy traffic today. And then he was late. Don't make it mean that he doesn't care about you or respect you, because then you're taking it personally and you're making it about you, which is only creating another layer of story, another block. So not only do you have the block that Jerry doesn't show up on time because you've created it, now you've went ahead and you've made it even worse by thinking that there's something wrong with you and they don't respect you. Okay. So it's a lot easier if we just say, oh, Jerry was late. Well, I intend Jerry's always on time, and he always leaves with more than enough time to get here with the traffic. Okay. And then the other thing is, guys, stop looking at the lack. Focus on what's working in your life. Remember, everything in your reality right now was created by you yesterday, the day before, the week before, the month before. This is all your creation. Enjoy it. Even the aspects that you don't like about it, just take a look at it and be like, yeah, I created you and I'm going to change you right now. Right. And without all the emotion. Right. But as soon as you stop taking things personally, and as soon as you start giving things a meaning that's in line with your end goal, you'll find that you're not going to be emotional. Like, for instance, right? Let's say, okay, tonight, Andrew's supposed to be bringing home dinner to the beach house. Okay. So let's say he forgets. Okay. So I can easily go, okay, he doesn't care about me. He totally forgot. Okay. Now that is going to make me very upset, and it's going to make me react. But if I say, oh no, he's had a long day, and you know what? It's no big deal that he forgot. Like, I mean, it was a long day, whatever. Okay. So now I don't feel as bad. Now I feel like, oh, you know what? I kind of feel bad for asking him to go get it after working all day. Like, why couldn't I go? Right. Do you see what I mean? So the meaning that we give something is going to change the way we feel about that situation. So I invite you guys, take a look into different areas of your life to see where you're giving things a meaning that's making you upset. And then ask yourself, is there another meaning I can give this? And is that meaning in line with what my end goal is? Okay. So for instance, right, I want my dinner tonight. So I am going to say that I intend Andrew remembers to pick up dinner tonight. And yeah, he does. And he's happy. And he comes home in a great mood, and everything always works out in my favor. And I can always see everything that I create in my reality. I remember one last thing I'll close with here is I remember years ago, I was driving down the road and I just felt completely stuck in my life. Like, none of this was working, I thought, and you just have those moments. And then I stopped and I said, Amanda, you know what? Remember when you only dreamt about what you have today? And then I thought to myself, yeah, well, you created that with your thoughts. So constantly remind yourself that you are a powerful creator. Do it any way that you can, whether it's watching a video, whether it's doing coaching sessions, or, whether it's, writing intentions, anything. I personally do a little list of everyone as you pushed out, little mini manifestations that are really quite, simple, but yet I would recognize that I've created them to bring me back in the zone of, yeah, I create and I've got this. Because the more you can recall that feeling of, manifesting, the more you're going to manifest. So, every day, actually, I like to go through and review everything that I manifested. I was just thinking, this morning, I was thinking, oh man, none of this is working, and I was like, well, no, wait, hold on. Remember last week, I remember there was this thing, and I just wanted to get this person's phone number. I don't even know why. Like, I just did. Like, Anyway, it was manifestation. Like, it wasn't a big deal, but like, I just wanted to. And then at first the person was like, I gave them my number. I gave them my number, and they were like, I'm like, you know, can I get yours? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm like, they'll give it. And then sure enough, a week later, they offered up their number. Right. So I made a new friend. But so I remembered that manifestation this morning, and that brought me back to, oh, wow, anything is possible. This can happen. Okay. So, you know, no matter how big or how small, you know, keep focused on what you've already created to keep you in the zone, and keep focused on what you want to see more of in your life. Focus on things that make you feel good. Okay. Focus on things that, you know, that you enjoy. Yeah. Anyways, that's my video for today. I intend that it helps every single one of you guys. I mean, I'm sure it's a wonderful reminder. I mean, we all need the reminder, you know, we all constantly create. So, but I think the most important thing for everybody to take away from this is keep telling yourselves that you're perfect and you can have what you want because you deserve it. And I think that that'll really help. Yes. Okay. Awesome, guys. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.